Now let's look at another bombshell that Trump dropped. Though perhaps the choice of the word is incorrect, because Trump spoke about doing the exact opposite. He wants to reduce the number of bombs, nuclear bombs. In the US, Russia and China, Trump is talking about denuclearization. It is a welcome step. We already have too many nukes in the world, way more than anyone needs. So reducing the stockpile does make sense. But will Russia and China go along with this? Probably not. China has already given a reply. It has told Trump, "You first." Here's our report.
US President Donald Trump made an announcement yesterday. He spoke about nuclear weapons. Trump says there are too many in the world. So he wants to reduce the number of nukes. Trump doesn't plan to do this alone, of course. He wants the other two biggest nuclear powers to join him.
I'm going to have that conference primarily with China and Russia because those are the two that really are out there. And we're going to have them spend a lot less money, and we're going to spend a lot less money. And I know they're going to do it. They agreed to it. We were talking about denuking, denuking, and President Putin and I agreed that we were going to do it in a very big way. There's no reason for us to be building brand new nuclear weapons. We already have so many you could destroy the world 50 times over, 100 times over.
Let's look at the numbers. The US is currently estimated to have 5,225 nuclear weapons. Russia reportedly has 5,580. Together, they control about 90% of the world's nuclear weapons. Far below them, but in third place, we have China, which is thought to have about 600 nukes. These are the latest estimates from this January. Now, let's understand what these numbers mean. Nuclear bombs have only been used once during a war. That was World War II, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The US bombed the Japanese cities. It killed about 140,000 people in Hiroshima and 74,000 in Nagasaki. This includes people who died after the blasts due to radiation poisoning. And remember, these were the first nuclear bombs to be developed. They were tiny compared to what came later. One of the most infamous giant nukes was the Russian Tsar bomber. It was first tested in 1961. This bomb was reportedly over 1,500 times more powerful than the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs combined. And the Tsar bomber was developed in the 1950s and 60s. A handful of these would be enough to obliterate the US or any other part of the world. So then what was the point of building so many nukes after that? This is true for both Russia and the US. The old nuclear race was just an ego battle. It seems the older generation just wanted to prove they could do it. And now, people today are stuck footing the maintenance bill. So Trump is correct. There's really no reason for the US and Russia to build new nukes. They have plenty of old, deadly ones that can do the job just fine. And as for China, 600 nukes is also too much. But apparently not for Beijing. Reports say it wants to hit 1,000 nukes by 2030. Again, why? Maybe keep an extra 100 as backups in case of malfunctions. But why the need to hit quadruple digits when even a single nuke works as a deterrent against potential enemies? Not to mention, a massive stockpile is a drain on a country's finances.
At some point, when things settle down, I'm going to meet with China, and I'm going to meet with Russia in particular, those two, and I'm going to say there's no reason for us to be spending almost $1 trillion on military. There's no reason for you to be spending $400 billion. China's going to be at 400 billion. We're at $1 trillion. We're going to be at close to $1 trillion. And I'm going to say we can settle this on, we can spend this on other things. We're all spending a lot of money that we could be spending on other things that are actually, hopefully, much more productive.
India, the UK and France seem to have the right idea. Build enough nukes to secure yourself and then spend money on other things. Trump is proposing this to Russia and China. Trump says that Russian President Vladimir Putin is on board. That could mean that they will extend the US-Russia New START treaty, which places limits on nuclear stockpiles. But will Beijing agree to nuke limits?
全世界公认，美国
As the nations with the largest nuclear arsenals, the US and Russia should earnestly fulfill their special and primary obligations of nuclear disarmament by further making drastic and substantive cuts to their nuclear arsenals, so as to create the necessary conditions for other nuclear-armed countries to join the nuclear disarmament.
The Chinese spokesperson basically said, not until the US and Russia denuclearize first. If China doesn't join Trump from day one, it could undermine the whole plan, and we'll stay where we are today, in a world with too many nukes for no good reason.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we've put together for you. Touted as the minimum two-way defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send this special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Pretty measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
we were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote efforts. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.